Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Brayden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, and thank you for stopping by. Alright guys, tonight we're going to take a trip to San Jose, California for the content of tonight's video. Now, we spent some time there back in June. If you recall, this is the city where Sam Liccardo, the mayor, introduced some of the most draconian anti-gun and gun control legislation through city ordinances, and then it was passed by the city hall, basically the city council, okay? These are the ordinances that come forward, and you have to record every gun sale, record every ammo sale. You're mandated to have insurance if you own a gun, and you are fined or penalized if you have a gun every single year to help mitigate the financial impact on San Jose from gun violence. Now, what we're going to talk about is not that stuff, because we know that tyrants are going to tyrant. They're going to infringe where they're going to infringe. But what we're going to talk about is how much trouble they're having doing it with zero resistance. And that's the important piece, guys. As patriots, as Second Amendment advocates, the only time that this is over is when we say it's over. You can say you're going to take every gun that we have. You can say that you're going to do any gun control measure that you want. But until we give up, you have not taken anything. And that's the important piece. If we are unified, if we are driving together as one force for our constitutional rights, we are going to pass this blessing along to the next generation. And that's what we drive towards every single night on this channel. Give me an amen in the comments field if you agree. And check out this article linked in the description box. But let's dive in. And remember, this is what they're fighting. We are on a solid constitutional footing, and they are fighting uphill. And this is why we are unified and driving forward. But let's get it. This is out of San Jose. This is a newspaper out of San Jose, okay? They want this, and this is what they're saying. How will San Jose enforce its proposed gun laws? That's an excellent question. Let's dive into the trouble that they're having. San Jose lawmakers proposed first-in-the-nation gun measures in June. They love this like flowery first-in-the-nation kind of crap. Mandating that gun owners carry insurance and pay into a public fund to cover gun violence costs. But enforcing the measures might be more difficult than the city anticipates. No kidding, because you know that this is nothing more than a flagrant violation of the Constitution. The devil is in the details. Sure, gun violence is a very serious problem for the community, and it's true in San Jose as it is everywhere else, said Philip Cook, a professor emeritus of public policy at Duke University and co-author of Gun Violence, The Real Cost, a book about the economic impacts of gun violence. But insurance is not likely to affect much of it. Allow me to say that part again. But insurance is not likely to affect much of it. And this is where they run to, because the flowery utopian ideals that are achieved through common sense gun control never work out in reality. This is so good. Cook says most home insurance companies cover some of the damage that guns already do, such as when a gun accidentally discharges. Things that aren't covered include deliberate misuses of guns, such as suicide by gun or homicides, which account for 97% of all gun deaths, according to 2017 numbers from the Pew Research Center. So it's similar to car insurance. If you use it to run into a building, you're not going to have that covered. That's kind of the idea. Okay? Starting to see the holes in the armor here? And this is the part that I wanted to bring to you specifically, and this goes towards fighting from a just cause position of the Constitution. Though the council approved exploring the gun control measures in June, the city's attorney's office still has to come back with an ordinance that is defensible amid legal challenges that gun right groups promise to raise. Absolutely, we promise to raise it, because this is low-hanging fruit. The more that they do this, the more they're going to get knocked down, and their little flowery utopian perfection is going to be ground to dust because it's flagrantly violating the Constitution. And this is where they're angling. Just to give you an idea of how far in left field they are, this is what they're actually angling for, and this is their thought process so far. According to the proposed rules, the ones that passed the city council, the city will set up a portal where gun owners must submit their fees and upload proof of insurance. Owners who fail to comply will be charged with a civil offense with the possibility of a fine and confiscation of their guns by the police. Certain people, such as retired or reserve police officers and holders of concealed weapon permits, will be exempt from the requirement. Okay, that's interesting. This is the functionality logistical part. We will rely on reactive enforcement in the same way that California relies on reactive enforcement for auto insurance mandates, i.e., if you get pulled over for speeding, you have to show proof of insurance, said Rachel Davis, Liccardo's spokesperson. Now that's a crappy job, being the spokesperson for this moron. So now you're going to say, license and insurance, please. Also, license and insurance for your gun. Well, how do you know I have a gun? Oh, read this next part. Yet there is no federal or state gun registry, which means officials won't know for sure who owns a gun, and in turn, who is paying into the fee mandates if owners fail to self-attest. Gee, I wonder if gun owners are going to line up and say, here's my money, here's my unconstitutional dues, please do it some more, what else can I grab for you while I'm bent over this barrel? No one's going to do this. There's no gun registry. There's no way to track who has a gun because the city doesn't have access to that information, thank God, and that's also part of the Constitution. And yet they're going to expect fee mandates. But how are you going to expect fee mandates if you don't know who has a gun or not, unless you have it on you specifically? But if you had it on you in California, you have to have a concealed carry permit, so you already knew about them to begin with, and they're exempt from the fee. You see how it's falling apart? They put together this idea, like I said earlier, this flowery utopian perfection, but it's falling apart on logistics because it doesn't make sense. This is why we are going to fight, guys, and we may take body blows. We might take hits from now and from left, from right, from up, from down, but the important part is, it is not over until we decide that it is over, and we will never be defeated until we say that we give up. And for me, for one, that won't be happening anytime soon. Let me know what you guys think in the comments field below. Hopefully this brightened up your Saturday a little bit. And until tomorrow, I'm Braden. See you later.